Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Out of Rhythm Fantasy Sports. Today is Wednesday, July 19th. Oh, what amazing day. What amazing day, man. So I'm your host today, Jamie, and we got my fashionably hot co-host on the other side, Mr. Eli. How's it going, man?
Somebody told me somebody's got a birthday. Wish I had
Oh,
confetti or balloons or something. Somebody's got a birthday, and it's you.
oh, snap, crackle, pop.
We need to get
Yes,
more
today
people.
is
We need to
my
get more people on the chat. Everybody get on, man. We got to wish Jamie a happy birthday. Let's get some damn comments. He's the big 4-0 today, and
holy,
he's doing this stream. Who the hell
right?
else would do a fantasy football stream on their 40th birthday? The commitment. I love this man, and dude, I wish I was there
Yes,
with you. He showed me off camera. He's got a shot of De Leon tequila, and I got me
yes,
some
yes,
twisted tea. Thank you, sir.
yes,
Mm.
yes. Over. Cheers, my friend.
Uh,
Mm,
yes, you
mm.
bet.
Ooh, 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 tasty, tasty. Yes, this is it's a small tradition. Me and Eli like to do every now and then. We'll have a little shot before the show, kind of get us tuned up, in buzz with each other, and then we just flow off each other that way a lot of times. So good gracious. But man, there's a lot to talk about. Man, holy crap. So yes, we're doing another AFC. We're actually hitting on the AFC's, or not the AFC, NFC side of all the divisions. So yeah, we did a couple mock drafts the last couple episodes here, and yeah, it's time for us to knick knack paddywhack, give a dog a bony on the other side of the freaking football side of stuff, and yeah.
We cranked out. We cranked out the AFC for about 4 weeks there. Some divisions I liked, some I didn't, but we got through them. And now we're gonna hit the NFC. And last 2 weeks we were doing mock drafts, which I think it's productive. I think it helps people, especially the casual players. It's always changing. Especially we have a bunch of news we got to get to with running backs and pup-less guys and just a bunch of variety. So it's always good to keep current with the mock drafts, and we might do one more before the actual season starts, maybe sometime in August, once we get through these 4 divisions in the NFC. But if you haven't done it yet, get on Discord. Always some interesting conversations, including our opinions about a certain someone who took a jab at us. We won't mention his name, but so there's always fireworks going on over on the Discord. And you know what, Jay? If they can't do the Discord, if they just want to listen back to the show, they can't get enough. They need to listen to us for a 5th time for the same episode because the
Ooh,
AFC East that we did was so damn good.
ooh,
Where can they go?
ooh. Well, man, it's always my favorite. We're on that Spotify where they have digital music and all that fancy stuff. You can put videos and whatnot up in there, and we're on Google and Apple Pod, man. So if you can't catch us, that's where we'll be. I know we're on some other platforms, Intune, Subsidy, and some other odd, weird some other pod weird stuff that I was googly searching, and next thing you know, I'm like, how in the hell did we get on some other platforms? I'm like, I know I was only on 3, but hot damn, all right, well, more the merrier, man. This isn't the other rhythm airways for freaking nothing, man. But holy shit! But yes, if you don't catch our live streams, get on those god dang apps and start listening to us down there. I mean, we love the view or the listeners' earbuds and whatever hell it is that TikToks, that all that information down there and whatnot. I look at who freaking knows, but yeah. Anyways, what the hell? What there was something else I was going to say, and now I totally forgot it. Give us a god dang review, man. Come on, guys. Come on. I would love for
Yeah,
us to have a god dang review. God, I sound like Bobby.
don't make us do it. Don't don't make us make some ghost account. Pull a Kevin Durant over on Twitter. He has all these fake burner accounts. Don't make us make one where we have to write our own review under a different alias. We don't want to do that. We want it to be
Yeah,
legit. Oh, Big D,
yes,
there he is. Especially when
yes,
Donovan drafts all this stuff. I'll give him that. I'll give him that. His mock draft from last week was a hell of a lot better than 2 weeks ago. So Donovan, you stepped your game up with your from the 2 quarterback league for sure last week. So that was a lot of fun.
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
definitely. And like I said, we're probably gonna do at least one more because things are always changing in NFL, especially with training camp and preseason coming up in a few weeks.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
want to do one, mid late August. Once there's a few more injuries, maybe a few more signings, and kind of keep everything current with that because a lot of people draft. I mean, we do drafts at the end of August. We've done September 1st drafts or August 28th drafts or September 3rd. There's
Yep.
always those leagues that are drafting, right up to the season point. So
Oh yeah, yep.
you
I
can
know I
kind
got.
of be on the lookout for that.
Yep. I know I got a couple leagues that I got like September 1st drafts and when I got to set up a lot of my other ones and if anybody out there on the airwaves, the digital airwaves and blah blah blah, all that fun fancy stuff, I made another 16 man on Sleeper. So I mean, I got 9 people already. So hey, if you want to join up for another 16 man league, come over there and show me your stuff, man, because I want to see how guts and glory, anybody's
I'll show
well
you my
knowledge.
stuff, big boy.
Hey now. That's for a different time. No.
Whoop. Put him
Hey,
away.
Jesus Christ. How dare you do that to me? No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, guys, yes. I did I did do I made up another new league on Sleeper, 16 man. So I mean if anybody wants to join, yeah, get in the link down there, that fun Discord stuff and whatnot. Shoot a message somewhere out there and say, hey man, I want to join the Sleeper League. So come on. Um yes. Donovan, I will
Always count on Big D.
yep.
I
Got
was
me
gonna
in.
say, I was gonna say quick. We've been discussing, maybe some merch ideas. So I mean that's probably down the pipeline too. I know, I'd like to get a hat made for Jamie over myself. He rocks the flat bill caps, and I tend to rock like baseball caps or trucker caps. And so we might get something with, come up with maybe a different logo than the one you'll see at the top of the screen. Maybe a
Yes.
variation of that. So, and
Yeah.
I might do, like I said, I've been waiting on my screen print. I did, it is made up, but it's one of my, I rock a lot of like, hemmed sleeveless shirts on this show. Sun's out, guns out. And so
Oh,
one of my,
those
one of my little
guns.
sleeveless
I don't
hoodies
have
is
any
going to have the
guns.
out of rhythm. Yeah, hell yeah. One of my little sleeveless hoodies is going to have the out of rhythm logo plastered all over. Hopefully I'll be wearing it soon on the show here. You guys get a preview of that. But yeah, so that's in the works. Like I said, we're going to crank out these divisions the next 4 weeks. Maybe some additional content. We were thinking about, didn't quite work out, but we were thinking about maybe jumping on for some, if some major news breaks, DeAndre Hopkins, I don't, everybody's got their opinion about that signing with the Titans, but we didn't think that was a big enough deal. Now, if Josh Jacobs is traded, we might jump on for just a quick 10-15 minute run, and or a couple of the running backs. Like if the Patriots were to sign Lenny Fournette and Josh Jacobs were to get traded to the Rams or Ravens or something like that, we'll probably jump on and maybe do a little bit of but in that circumstance, it should just be about one episode a week. But yeah, we might jump on in some short spurts and try to give you guys a little more content. But that'd be
Yes.
interesting.
Oh,
I don't know. Speaking of that, Jay, speaking of that, man, like what do you think of Saquon maybe sitting out the 2023 season? What just to kind of stick it to the Giants.
uh, that's it. I'm speechless. Just speechless.
I
Wait,
know,
I mean,
right?
I mean, we're gonna be talking about the Giants. So maybe I can just say a little bit about Barkley when we get into the Giants talk. So I think that I can save my peace of mind on the Giants then because
I
I think
I
there's a
want to
lot to
choke
talk
him.
about when we get to
I want to choke him. He's gonna screw up so many
they're
fantasy. Him. What about Jacobs though? Because
yes, that's I think this
I think he's traded.
it's
I think he's gonna play. Saquon, I think Saquon's a little more set in his ways. I mean, we'll get to him in a little bit, but
Yeah,
I think Jacobs is going to play, and I think he's going to play for another team. I
very
think he's getting shipped out.
it's very well possible. I mean, from reports and stuff like that, that he was actually in their at their facility in a parking lot waiting for a deal with one of the defensive end guys, and nothing happened, I guess, and he just like screw it, let's bounce kind of thing. But I know it is unfair and unsettling to see running backs in this situation, to see wide receivers getting banked, quarterbacks getting banked, and when these tight ends getting these large ass freaking deals, Kelsey deals and shit like that, and these running backs. I mean, what the fuck, running backs are they're the whole team, dude. They're the ones that set the freaking pace of the damn game, dude. If they didn't have, if there wasn't running backs, there wouldn't be no Emmitt Smith. There wouldn't be no freaking Marshall Falk. There wouldn't be no fucking Barry Sanders. It's just stupid, totally stupid. Pay these fucking guys. Get them on your team. Get them in the facilities. Get this shit done so you can have so you guys don't have this conflicts. It's just deterring. It doesn't, that's the way I see it.
It's a completely different NFL now. Like, everybody's got their 2 cents on it. All the shows we listen to, the TV ones or Colin Cowherd or whoever, everybody's got their 2 cents. I honestly, I think you can pay maybe 10 of them. It's when you have like Evan Ingram, we would agree he's a top 10 tight end. I mean, it's debatable if he's top 5 or 6, but I think definitely we would both agree he's a top 10 fantasy tight end. And he just got a deal. You saw on the bottom. I mean, that's almost $14 million a year. I mean, he got a 3-year, $41 million deal, $24 million guaranteed. So he's getting more than these guys annually. I mean, he's making with what Derrick Henry is making, and Derrick Henry's the whole Tennessee offense. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys you can pay. I think Derrick Henry's one of them. He's the whole damn show.
Yeah, he is.
Saquon, obviously. I think Saquon, without him, the Giant. I mean, Danny Dimes. Come on now, Danny Dimes. Giants will regress.
They wouldn't have anything.
Yeah, well, we'll be talking about these clowns here in like 10 minutes, but yeah, like Giants are nothing. I mean, they really aren't. They don't have. I mean, we'll talk about the receiving core. Like they have nothing. They have nothing on offense. Washed up Darren Waller and some other junk. Saquon, Derrick Henry. If you want to argue CMC when he's healthy, I mean, obviously he's the highest paid running back in the league. Josh Jacobs, I think, has a huge hand to what the Raiders did. Yeah, there's you can name off probably 10, and then everybody else to me is you can get on, you can get a first, second, third year running back like Pacheco from the Chiefs, or a young guy that was just drafted who we think is going to be just as good as Saquon and Derrick Henry and these guys, Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs, one of these guys you can get really cheap. So I don't know. They're paying $50 million to quarterbacks now. $45-50 million is the going rate for probably a top 10 quarterback now. So and now tight ends with this Evan Ingram deal, like every elite tight end, every top 10 tight end is going to make at least 11-12 million a year. So the rates are going up for everybody else. Receivers, it's in the high 20s, around 30 million now, 25 to 30 million, and running backs just and it's that's the only position it's going down. Like you could maybe argue the kicker, but that's not a skill position. But the kicker has been about the same for the last probably 15 years. There's not really a, Justin Tucker's not making much more than he was in 2012, 2013 than he is now.
Yeah.
So it's running back that's been on the steep decline, and it's all analytics but if you're my point is, like, if you're a major cog in the offense, if you're a Derrick Henry, you're a Saquon Barkley, you're a guy like that, where your quarterback is either average or below average, you have value. I'd pay you $15-18 million. But other than that, you just can't, like Mahomes, like the Chiefs can't pay. They can't trade for Josh Jacobs and give him $16 million a year. They just not with what you're paying Mahomes, Kelsey, some of the guys on the defense. They can't do it. And those are the elite teams that are winning. It's the Chiefs.
Yeah.
The 49ers, they're stacked. Even the Cowboys.
But I
Cowboys
mean,
don't have any room to,
yeah.
you
But if
know,
you think about it,
they're not
these
even signing
elite
Tony
teams.
Pollard. We'll talk
Yep.
about too in a little bit. That's
Yep.
ridiculous. They're not giving,
So
they're not backing up the Brinks truck for Tony
yeah.
Pollard.
Yeah. So if you think about it, these teams that are elite, like just think about it. I mean, the Chiefs, they don't have one stud, running back. They don't. They got a two-headed monster.
No.
I mean, it's the same with the
Yep.
Eagles. They don't have one show, and they have two-headed monsters. So it's the Raiders had a one-headed monster pretty much all last season. I mean, that's the way I see it. A lot of these teams are going to be, they're going to be, if you're not paying these running backs, you're going to have a two-headed monster. I mean, then you're not going to have guys that are like, well, I don't like him because he's not getting full. But I mean, they're just going to end up being like the Patriots, two-headed monster. Like Stevenson, he wasn't really, the fair deal, one cut guy. So I mean, they're always placing somebody in there. So I mean, is that what it's going to come to now? That we're not going to have one head guy to lead the freaking backfield. It's going to be a two-headed monster now. That's probably what's going to be. That's probably what's going to happen.
For all the good teams, yeah. if you're an elite team, you're, like I said, you're a Chiefs. You're a Chargers are a little weird. Chargers, Kelly isn't really a compliment. I mean, Eckler's kind of the whole offense too. If you think, I mean,
yeah, he is.
For like, but they're so stacked. I mean, they got good receivers. Herbert's a stud. The Chargers make no sense. They should be, like a 12-5, Super Bowl contending kind of team. They're just not.
Oh, they should be blowing that division out. I mean, they should be right behind the Chiefs.
The Chargers are like the rare exception of a team, a team that's got a top 5 back that they probably should pay, and that they should go and win a Super Bowl or be close, at least be an AFC championship caliber team. They're about the rare exception. Everybody else that's got a one-headed monster, they're all mediocre. I mean, the Giants they beat the Vikings in the playoffs last year. Whoop-de-doo. Like they're an average team. They're going to come back. You'll see this year, and we'll get to them when we get to their. But Titans, they didn't do anything. Didn't even make the playoffs. So we know what kind of player Derrick Henry is. So a lot of these, everything for the elite teams, 49ers, they use 3 or 4 running backs.
The Miami,
Seattle's going to be good this year. Seattle's using a couple, Charbonnet and a couple other guys like Walker. So there's all the elite teams are going to be using and they're not going to pay them. They're not going to pay. They're going to pay 2 running backs, rookie deals or $5-6 million. They're not going to. Nobody's getting.
Us as fantasy guys, we want that one cut guy that's
we do,
we want the guy that's getting 300 attempts, man. Come on now, But it is what it is. But then you're gonna have those guys that are the specialty guys that run those outs and are able to receive and blast the ball somewhere. So there's gonna be like guys like that out there too. So but yeah, I suppose. I mean, enough running backs talk, and I think we need to get this show on the road because a lot of people are like, just get to it already, god damn it. So I think we need to jump in and just start digging in, man.
Well, I got my hot fudge sundae here, figuratively, and I'm ready. I got the big spoon. I'm always the big spoon. Okay, I'm gonna dig right into that sundae, and you know what? I'm gonna bring up those damn New York Giants. They're up first. Bam! Right there. So,
Daniel
like I said, this is all based on Daniel Jones. This is all information based. You know what? I'm going to set the mood for this real quick. You know what? This is the Blue Light Special. Kmart shoppers. All right. Let's do this right here. So this is all based on the information that we have as of, July 19th. Like we don't know a month from now if the Giants have to go and sign a Darrell Henderson Jr. or a Lenny Fournette, or if they have to promote Gray, the rookie running back they took, if he's going to be the feature back and Saquon sits out the year. So based on the information we have now, I'm going to assume that they work something out. Saquon's in. And he is by far their number one fantasy guy, no question. He's healthy. I mean, the sky's the limit. This guy does everything. You know what? experts are going to have their opinions and their projections, and I think for 17 game season, I think he plays. I'm going to say he sits. I'm going to say he sits out the first week just to send a message, or the Giants to send a message to him. So he misses one game there. I think he misses another 3 for injury. So I'd say he plays 13 games. I think Saquon will have about an 1,100 yard season. I think Saquon will have. So it's not going to be elite. I don't think he's on that. I think he's due for a decline a little bit. He's not going to be
probably
a little. Yeah. So
I mean,
decline a little bit.
This is his 5th year coming in, So I mean, he's been
Sixth.
in there for a while. Yeah, be his 6th now. Yeah,
Yep.
Give or take. So I don't know. I think maybe 1,100 yards, give or take. I think he could probably repeat. I mean, he hasn't. There was only 1 year where he actually was bad. So I mean, there was. And I think it was before he got injured. He was. He when he first came in, he was pretty much a top hitter right away.
Yeah, 2018. I mean, this guy was like Hall of Fame bound. I mean, this was damn Emmitt Smith on the field, and then injuries happened, but kind of revitalized his career last year. You know what? I don't blame the Giants for him. If I had a running back that was like Derrick Henry, you got to pay Derrick Henry. The guy's he's been hurt, but not out complete not complete seasons and where it's lingering and guys like that. I understand why the Giants aren't like, hey, dude, we're not going to give you CMC money. We're not going to do it. We're not. We just paid our quarterback $40 million. We're not going to give you, $16, $17 million a year.
Yeah,
so I don't know what Saquon's expecting. I think he should have just taken. I think they were offering like $11 million a year, and then the franchise tag I think is like $10 million. He should have just taken the deal. Like, dude, we always say like we slave away for the money we make. I mean, we make pennies compared to what these NFL guys make, and it's like, dude, just show up to work. Just sign the damn contract. You should have thought about this shit 20 years ago when you were in Pop Warner. They should have been like, hey, young Saquon. They should have took him aside, like, hey, dude, you should be a corner, or hey, man, you should be a middle linebacker.
And that's what it's going to come. It's going to probably what it's going to come down to nowadays. I mean, a lot of these young kids that are playing running backs are going to be like, damn, dude. I mean, there's not a lot of money in this position. I might convert to be a freaking cornerback. I might convert to be a wide receiver now. So.
Yeah, and they're all good. Like all these running backs, you're never going to see another Adrian Peterson again. You're never going to see another Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. You're going to see a lot of like rookie contract guys. I mean, like in the years to come. I mean, there's still going to be an influx of, Hall of Fame level guys, but I think 10, 15 years from now, it's going to be a completely different position. And that's just the way the league's going. But so right now, Saquon, slight decline. I think he play, if I were to guess, I would say he plays 13 of 17 games. Up next, Daniel Jones. Yes, I got to put him here because there really isn't a lot to work with. This Giants team, I don't know how the hell. And they got exposed in that playoff game last year, but I don't know how the hell that this team made the divisional playoffs last year. They're not. That's why we started with them. Okay, because this is the team I like the least in the skill position wise. And Daniel Jones, trash. A couple of years ago, I made fun of him. That's where the whole Daniel Jones. That's where that came from. Okay? sounds like some character out of a Revolutionary War book. Like he was friends with Davy Dam Crockett. Okay. He's gonna get you some rushing yards. Granted, no questions asked. He's gonna get you 750, 800, rushing yards, which is damn good for a quarterback. I mean, that puts him in the top 5 of for quarterback yards. He's not Justin Fields. He's not Lamar. I'd say he's more Kyler Murray. Like it's hurt. Like a yardage comp guy, like what they would accumulate over a year, maybe where Murray's at, in that range. But yeah, Danny Dimes, 15 touchdowns last year, and come on, I mean, in this league, 15 touchdowns would have been good in like 1975. That ain't good now. Like if you're in a league, you're making $40 million a year, you need to have at least 25 touchdowns. I don't care how you do it through the air, 25 touchdowns is the benchmark. You need to be able to at least reach that.
Well, I mean, the
So he's
downfall of
not.
that is, see, the downfall with him having the lack of touchdowns is because they didn't have any wide receivers, which I'll get to
They didn't fix it
after
this
he's
year.
done.
They didn't that's why I'm calling for the blue light special here. I need some help. I need some help in aisle 3. God
Well,
damn.
we gotta call Kmart and yes, but I don't think there is any
Yeah,
more
right.
Kmart's in the world anymore.
Right. I think there's like one left or something. Don't do him like that. I just did him like that. He's Daniel Jones. You don't pay him. They made a mistake. They paid him, and now you're stuck with his mediocrity. Okay. Fantasy wise, he's not. I think I'm biased towards him because I think of him as more of like like a franchise court. Like I look at like Burrow, like I look at Mahomes, like I look at Jalen Hurts, a guy like that. He's not. You have way worse fantasy options than Danny Dimes because he does get you the rushing yards, some rushing touchdowns, but through the air. I mean, he's for what he's being paid now and the lack of weapons. I don't think it's getting any better through the air. So his value, like Justin Fields, very similar. His value is going to be with his legs. So if that's not there, like if he takes a regression back with the rushing yards or with rushing touchdowns, I mean he's basically useless. He's almost as useless as Ryan Tannehill. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He's a very
Daniel's better than Tannehill. I'll tell you, I'll say that right now. For far as him actually,
slightly.
I would take Jones over Tannehill, even though
I take him too, but he's not.
I mean, even though I'm a Titans fan
it's
and
not
a Cowboys fan, I mean, I would take him over Hill or Tannehill any day of the goddamn week. But just for your composition, Danny Dimes was actually a top 12 fantasy QB 43% of the time, which is fairly high. So I mean, he's in that QB2 range, So I mean, he's not elite. I mean, he's in that QB2, QB3 kind of tier, when it comes, well, actually QB2 tier, I think. He's kind of in with Dak a little bit. Dak maybe a little bit higher than him, but I mean, he's like the lower tier too, in that tier, anyways. So I mean, overall, I mean, he wasn't even QB3.
With Jared Goff. I don't know if Jared's listening, but Jared loves him some Lions. But I put him in there with like Jared Goff. Guys like Kirk Cousins are kind of in that same like fantasy value kind of range. So he does different things than those guys do. Those guys throw more passing touchdowns, but with his value is like with his legs. And if there's something that happens with that, that's what I worry about. He has no, and we'll talk about the receivers here in a second, but he doesn't have anything in the air to work with.
No,
and
if
anything happens, and if Saquon sits out the year, I mean, I like Gray, the rookie they took, but I mean, he's not. I mean, Saquon Barkley is like a Hall of Fame talent. I mean, he's not. I don't know if he's going to make it there, but he's that level of talent, and it's just you can't just replace that with like any guy, out of the 5th round or subsequent drafts and stuff.
Maybe
Danny Dimes. If I were to guess, Jamie, I'd say he has more touchdowns this year through the air. I know it contradicts a lot of what I just said, but I think he has 18 passing touchdowns. But the rushing, I don't think he has that many rushing touchdowns. I think it's maybe 3 or 4. So we're looking at maybe 22 total touchdowns, which isn't, I mean, it's like quarterback 2. Like if he, with the rushing yards and if he can get, 22 cumulative touchdowns, if it's a 2 quarterback league, he'll be one of my 2 quarterbacks. Absolutely. 1 quarterback, no, he'll be on my bench, but
I mean, with Dan,
I don't know what do you think?
I mean, with Jones coming into the year, I mean, he's been 4 years. This will be his. Yeah, he's on a new contract. This is his 5th year. I mean, first couple years, 23rd, 24th. I mean, in 2021, he was 27th, and then all of a sudden he busts out here this last year. So something must have clicked, at least. So I know he's like I mentioned, he's in that tier 2. I mean, he's part of his career consistency. I mean, he's right around with Herbert, Jimmy G, fantasy point wise. So I mean, he's not like he's a dud. I mean, he's even got more points than Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow's he's only been in the league for 3 years, and you would take Burrow over Daniel Jones. I mean, as far as
Yeah,
total
I think
consistency, I mean, he's in the top 20 for as far as consistency, career wise, anyways. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy you get in your in your round 6, 7, maybe even later. Depends on your league, but this is a guy you could get in later rounds for sure.
Okay, Darren Waller, put him here by default because, like I said, I'm not enamored with any of the Giants receivers. Bellinger, I think, is a backup tight end at this point. He was kind of a de facto starter last year, but he's nothing special. He's a backup. He's a tight end too on a team backup. I don't think Waller's got anything left. I'll be honest. I think he's shot.
I know. I think
injuries.
he's got something.
I think he's gonna miss half the year. I think he's gonna miss half the year. So whatever he did have left, he'll seduce you. That's what he did in 2 years ago. 2 years ago, everybody's like, oh, top three tight end. No, he's he's right up there with Andrews and Kelsey. And then what does he do? He gets hurt, lets you down. Story of this guy's career. Giants act like it's a big acquisition because nobody wants to go there. I mean, they can't get any big name receivers to sign there.
It's the Big Apple, man. Come on, everybody wants to be in New York because
right,
New York's the place to be.
They want to pay those 13% state income taxes. God, and play in cold weather. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything in front of you for Waller. I
didn't really do anything on Waller. I just did. I mostly did kind of the high hitters. I mean, not a lot. I didn't really do any pulling.
Mess with people at his level. I could easily name 8 or 9 tight ends I'd much rather have. He's like, to me, he's in maybe the upper, like where Okonkwo's at, like Okonkwo from the Titans.
Yeah,
I think he's right in that 11, 12, 13 range, which is quite the fall.
I don't know.
Yeah, thank you, Donovan.
Here's the thing though. If Danny gets into issues or gets into trouble, Waller's going to be that relief guy for him. Maybe if he gets into some trouble. I mean, those little short dump offs quick. So I don't know. I mean, I could probably see Waller maybe 500, 600, some odd yards. Yes, last year he only had 388 yards receiving. I mean, yeah. I mean, he saw for at least 43 targets. I mean, that's half of what some of those with the Raiders. Anyways, I mean, it's not like he's not useless. I mean, they could totally use a guy like him. So I don't know if it came to be. I mean, yeah, I have Waller on one of my dynasty leagues. I was going to try to get off him, but I know I might hold now just to see what he does. If he gets hot, fuck yeah, I'm going to trade his ass. Yeah, I'm going to get something else.
Well, you have the name value there. Yeah, that might work well in trades. Because there's going to be a few guys that are going to be in your league that are like, oh, I can get my hands on Darren Waller. Let's say he does stay healthy and he does tear it up the first couple weeks. That's a guy you can easily flip.
Yep.
And just with the name value, So I'd much rather have going forward. I'd much rather have an Okonkwo.
Yeah.
It's just guys in that tier that I'd much rather have at tight end or. Do I have to name some Giants receivers for the rest of the top 5? Slayton, I guess Slayton by default because when he is healthy, I mean he's kind of a deep threat. He's known to put up a 100-yard game every now and again. I'd put him at 4. I'm Wan'Dale Robinson got hurt his rookie year. I don't know. Maybe Wan'Dale. Maybe he'll stay healthy. He's got some value. Maybe. The back end of this is really. Yeah. That's the best way. This is the part of the show where if you got a bathroom break or you got to go grab a sandwich, if you want to skip ahead, if you're listening to this later on, this is the time to do it because this is the bathroom break segment. Because I always start with the team I like the least, fantasy wise. I put Jalen Hyatt, who I liked a lot at Tennessee, by the way. I like that whole Tennessee offense. I mean, Hendon Hooker, we'll get to him with the Lions. He might have a future himself. Nobody's speaking of Sterling Shepard, because these guys they're all the same. They're all the same size. They're all the same. they're it's like plug and play with these Giants
Well,
receivers. They
we'll be
play the
getting to
same
that
number
here.
of games, usually get the same
We'll
number
be
of
getting to
targets.
that here shortly.
Good God. Yeah. A lot of these positions are so these 4 or 5, probably 6, 7. A lot of these would all be receivers and they're all kind of interchangeable. So yeah, if you wanted to put Sterling Shepard at 5, if you wanted to put Wandale at 5, if you wanted to put Slayton at 5, these guys are all kind of in that range. Bellinger, like I said, I'm not enamored with him. If Waller goes down, he might have a little bit of value, but not enough to put in the top 5 here.
Yeah.
Gray, the rookie running
It's
back.
yeah.
It's slim pickings.
It is very well slim pickings. It's not fun because I mean I know what you mean, man. Because it, the Giants, the fucking
Yeah,
Giants,
who's the
dude. I
number 1
mean,
receiver? Who's the number 1
who they got?
receiver?
Fantasy Pros has they have Wandale Robinson listed as their number 1. Darius Slayton after that, Isaiah Hodgson, Paris Campbell. Then you got Jalen Hyatt. Yes. Yeah, and then we got Jalen Hyatt, got Sterling Shepard, Jameson Crowder. Jameson Crowder's been
I
around
didn't even
for
know he was still in the league.
he's been
How many
around for
teams has he been
ages.
with the last couple years?
I know, right? God damn, he seemed like he's been in it for 10 some odd years. He just never goes away. It's like good gravy. Shit. I was remember him with the freaking the Commanders. I was all fixated with him and he had a couple good seasons and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it comes down to who's gonna be the number 1 guy. I mean, that's gonna come down to the question. What Wandale ACL, yeah. I mean, he was a rookie last year. Unfortunately, I mean, he's got some upside. He was a top 24 wide receiver 16% of the time. Good majority. He was a wide receiver for 66% of the time. So unproven talent. Yeah, unproven talent right now. I mean, that's the downfall. And yes, a lot of my statistics.
Where does Wandale? No, quick, Jay. Where does Wandale fall in? Let's say like a 12-team draft. Like we've
Who
done
knows?
some
He might even
drafts,
so. This is probably what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be going.
Undrafted.
He might be undrafted. A lot of people will be going after Darius Slayton because he's the taller guy. He was kind of the more proven. I mean, he had the targets. I can tell you right now who had the most targets. I was looking. Sorry, give me just a second. But yeah, no. Overall, it's gonna be Darius Slayton. Jalen Hyatt's going to be drafted before Wandale because Wandale's a little bit taller. He's a taller dude for sure. Yes, I was going to figure out. It's hard to say with all these targets that were missed and whatnot in here. So Isaiah Hodgson, yeah, he's gonna be one of those guys that goes undrafted. I mean, yeah, he had a couple nice touchdowns there at the end, but he's not gonna be a guy you're gonna be drafting if they're in your 10-man, 12-man leagues. Deeper leagues, 16, yes, possibly. Darius Slayton had the most targets out of them. He had the 13 targets. Isaiah had 11 targets. That was their receiving. Richie James had 16. He's not even with the team anymore. So as you can see, they didn't have Sterling Shepard. I mean, Rondale got hurt, so they were using anybody and anyone they could get their hands on for just to toss them the damn ball. So with them drafting Jalen Hyatt, he's kind of my rookie sleeper. I think he should be able to see some targets. Yes, Donovan. Yes, I'm going to stay Sterling Shepard. I mean, yeah, he's kind of been injured. He's been around. He's been with the Giants for so long. I know I've told you this quite a few times. I've been a Shepard person for a long, long time, and even when he was playing with Odell Beckham, I mean, he had, you can see that Sterling had the goods. I mean, he was their number 2 guy, and if he didn't get injured, yeah, this would be no question. Sterling would be their number 1 guy right now. There'll be no damn question about it. But a lot of people are going to be saying, "You're stupid. You're an idiot. You're a moron." I don't really care, but that's the way I say it. I mean, right now, this is how it's probably going to go. I mean, it's going to be a kind of a wash right now because you don't know who's going to get the targets and whatnot, how it's going to fulfill out. They're going to probably sprinkle in some Sterling Shepard, some Wandale. I mean, I want to see Jalen Hyatt get in there as soon as he can to get his feet wet and whatnot because if it comes down to be, I mean, Isaiah Hodgson is actually playing on an exclusive, free agent tag. They could cut his ass in in a heartbeat. So I mean, he'll be out either way. So I mean, maybe they cut Sterling Shepard, but who knows? I mean, this crew just looks bad.
Yeah, and like we were saying, they're interchangeable. That's why I should have made this a list of like 9 players. Because I would have put every damn giant receiver would have had a spot. Even Richie James, who isn't with the damn team anymore, there would have been a spot for every one of them. Because you can plug and play these guys. Oh, Sterling's gonna be healthy, but you as a fantasy player, I avoid them all. Unless it's like a waiver week 7 pickup. I need somebody got hurt. Bad trade, whatever. Run and go get one of these guys if you can. But they'll pop at the most random times. They'll show up at the most random. We'll see a pregame report. Oh, week 12, Sterling's going to be healthy this week. He's going to get targeted. Okay, where do I get my hands on him? So like DFS, I like these guys. You can plug and play, and just it's a 1 week commitment kind of thing. But like over the course of a season, yeah, I avoid him like the plague. The only one I like that I think going forward has got a future is Jalen Hyatt. That's why I included him.
Yep,
Usually I put these rookies in the 4 or 5 spot when I think very highly of them. And
Yep.
Everybody else is trash. Giants, they're gonna take a regression, and their record I am predicting I think 6-11. I think they're really gonna take a nosedive this year.
Yep. Just so everybody who's tuning in, if it's later on, we're talking about the Giants right now. We'll be getting into some other guys right now as well. Just so that everybody knows, when you jumping in on stream, we're talking about the Giants right now. But yeah, Jalen Hyatt, he had 67 receiving yards, 1,200 some odd yards. That was an average of 18.9. His longest was set. He's a deep threat. He's a deep threat guy. I mean, he had his longest was 78 yard. His longest was 78-yard reception, and he had 15 some odd touchdowns last year. So I mean, with Tennessee, he was just lighting it up.
These are against SEC defenses.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he wasn't playing at Appalachian State or some random school in the middle of nowhere, East Washington or something. Like he's going up against NFL cornerbacks. The same reason I love me some LSU receivers, because every LSU receiver seems to pan out. I like these 2 Tennessee receivers a lot. Hyatt I like more. He's got the highest upside. He could be by 2020 another one of these guys who, I've mentioned a few of them, Chase Brown from the Bengals, few guys that I'm like, by 2024, he should be the number 1 guy. I think by 2024, so if you're looking ahead for a draft for a year, or you're playing Dynasty or anything like that, Jalen Hyatt will be the number 1 guy moving forward. I don't think this year, because it's the waters are too muddy, but he's the long bet.
Yep.
In my opinion, they stole him in the 3rd round, and that's just my thought. My thoughts on it. I'm turning off the lights. Lights out for solar.
Jared says Giants blow, Cowboys swallow. Yeah. I know you're a Lions truther over there, Jared. But yes. Anyways, on Jared, the whole Jalen Hyatt thing, we mentioned him a little bit with the AFC North preview with Cedric Tillman and whatnot. I kind of mentioned that the year before. Hyatt was not that great. Tillman was kind of the hot hand on that side until he got injured. The roles flip-flop, and Hyatt came out pretty much being the main man, and both those guys got drafted. Eric Gray, real quick. I think he's I want to say he's a guy to kind of watch in case Barkley decides to not, Gray he played 12 games with the Sooners last year. He had 213 odd carries. So I mean, he could be a workhorse if he wants to be. He had 1,300. And the Sooners is not the Sooners. They're not a joke. I mean, they're playing the Big 12. He had 1,364 odd yards. His long he had an average of 6.4 yards per carry. His longest was a 54 yarder, and he had 11 touchdowns. So I mean, he's a guy to kind of keep an eye on. That's I'm gonna keep an eye on Eric Gray. If it comes down, I mean, who knows if Eric Gray might be traveling up. He might be a double digit guy to draft in the later rounds, possibly if Barkley.
I would snag him up. Yeah, I would snag him up in a heartbeat. Do
Yep.
not, like I said, Saquon's a little bit different. I think Josh Jacobs for sure. I think is going to be on. I don't think he's sitting out, but I
Yep.
think Saquon from the talks of it, I think there's a chance that he could actually follow through on this. Yeah, Eric, get your hands on Eric Gray. It's another one. This was a great. This is going to turn out to be one of the best running back drafts of the last probably 10, 15 years. It just like it's stacked with guys late round picks that are going to pan out. Just watch. It's going to play itself out. So these running backs that are playing hardball, some of them are gonna get screwed because it's like, okay, I can,
Yeah.
Gray was a highly productive back in a major Power 5 school. Like he's
Yep.
not, he wasn't playing, no offense, like UND. Like
Yeah.
he was at and Oklahoma's got a pedigree. I mean,
Yep.
DeMarco Murray, Adrian Peterson. You
Yep.
guys say more. Joe Mixon.
Right.
Just Joe Mixon. Yeah, like 3, all pro level guys, like or Pro Bowl level guys. So yeah, Gray I like a lot. Yeah, what do you think for record? And I'll move on to the Commanders.
I think they win at least 8 games. I think they're kind of a wild card contender, but not
You
quite.
think 8 and
I
9?
think that I think they win about 8 games, give or take.
Okay, I got 6 and 11. So yeah, well, somewhere in that 6 to 8 range. We both think they're going to take a step back.
Yeah.
That Giants team last year, they kind of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Let's see what's next.
Ooh.
Oh, it's the Washington Commanders. All right, all right. All right. This is this should be interesting here. I like them not much more, but I like them a little bit more than I like the Giants. Love me some Terry McLaurin. This guy, I call him Clockwork. Okay, that's my nickname for him because it's like clockwork. Consistent every week. You know what you're getting. I mean, doesn't really get hurt. Just book it every week. I would say another 1,200, 1,250 season. Just solid. Nothing. He's not Chase, not Jefferson, never will be. But I mean, this guy's a stud, and he's going to help Sam Howell out a lot in his first year fully as the starter. McLaurin, I would easily head and shoulders put him as the number 1 fantasy guy with the Commanders. Let's see if Jay's got. Yep, there we go. So we'll kind of get into this a little bit. McLaurin and my main man Dotson from Baylor.
Yippers.
Yeah, kind of what I was saying. Like right around that 1,200-yard range. That's what you can expect. I'd like a few more touchdowns from. That's what kind of keeps McLaurin from being like elite. Is he's just not a big touchdown guy. But I mean, those are all around. Those are solid numbers. You're not going to complain if he's in your starting lineup every week.
Yeah, he's a yak monster. He just you haven't seen the upside with the TDs yet. Maybe with the little hope of the Sam Howell show coming into town, pull out those guns, and he's all like, "I'm ready, boys. Let's get this shit on the road.
Guns blazing. Let's go."
Oh wait, I thought this was the Cowboys. Oh shit! God damn, we were talking about the Commanders. God damn it, dude. But yes, yes, sir. Yes, McLaurin.
It's your party, and you'll cry if you want to.
Right. But yes, McLaurin. I like both these guys. Yep, I like Dotson. Dotson had some. Dotson. Pretty much early came in. First couple weeks. Pretty much before the whole month of the September. I think he had 4 touchdowns. He was kind of injured a little bit. Then he had a couple more touchdowns up in there. So Dotson, second year. Yeah, he's a guy. I mean, good. I think he's a good top 30, not 30, a good top 25-ish receiver. No, he's got to be a little bit lower. I mean, he's number 2. Yeah, shit. Now you got me all like thinking about where to kind of slap this guy.
I screwed up too. I screwed up too. I was thinking Dotson went to Baylor. I was like, God damn it.
I think he was Penn State.
Yeah, he was Penn State. Yeah. Had to double check that. Some of these guys run into each other. He's a solid, probably on a, if this team had a few more weapons, he'd probably be a 3. I think that's where he's best slotted in.
I
on
mean,
this team. They could use it.
you
They
know,
could use
since
an
we're
upgrade at the 2 spot.
yeah, since we're
You
kind
know,
of
Samuel. We might talk about him in a second here, but I think if he were to play kind of like he did a few years ago in Carolina, where he could stay healthy and get the proper number of targets, like Samuel could
yeah.
kind of compete with Dotson but yeah, not
I
great.
mean,
Like I said, McLaurin,
targets. Yeah, target wise, I
and
mean,
then
McLaren with McLaurin was the target dude. Samuel after that with 92, Dotson 61 ish. So I think Dotson can overtake Samuel in that aspect. Um, I mean, Dotson is just a better receiver. I mean, averaging almost 14 yards per catch, and Samuel, 10 yards per catch. So I
yeah,
just, you know, Curtis Samuel and Dotson, almost similar players. 25 plus yard receptions. They both had 6 of those, and Dotson had the better touchdowns. He had 7, and Samuel only had 4. So I mean, if McLaurin could get more of those touchdowns, I don't know. I think this with Sam Howell being in there, I think this is going to look a little bit different, especially with the offensive coordinator change. I think McLaurin's going to. I want McLaurin to take a step up. Dotson, bump down Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel. He's kind of a widget guy. I mean, he's kind of that swing guy, reverse kind of guy, kind of thing. So I mean, kind of that slot guy. I just want Dotson to. I think a lot of us want Dotson to step up now in his second year. I
he's.
mean,
I mean,
overall,
he showed flashes. He did. He
yeah,
showed flashes. Um, I remember a few games last year he popped. Kind of in the week 4 to week 7 range. So, just over the course of a season, I just think like if he was on a team like a Bengals, like I think he'd be right where like Tyler Boyd's at. You know what I mean? Be a good a really good number 3. But on this team, they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to, I don't think, do anything special. But so Dotson should definitely get more targets than Samuel. Definitely more targets than my number 5 man Logan Thomas, because he's kind of there by default too. Because I was debating between him and Antonio Gibson for the 5 spot, but I'll kind of get back on track. Get to my number 2 guy, Robinson Jr. He's solid. He plays a full season, maybe an 850 back, 850 to 900 yard back.
yeah.
Enough to be a starter, enough to like start in the NFL, but not. He's not.
They have Brian. I mean, if you look at it, Fancy Pros. I
Maybe
mean,
your bench guy, maybe a bench guy on a fantasy team, or like a flex guy at certain points. Like, where would he fit into like a typical fantasy team?
I mean, it's Robinson could be used as a flex. I mean, it depends on how you're. If you get a couple good running backs in the early rounds, Robinson, yeah, I can see him be, in kind of that flex kind of style kind of guy. I mean, they got. I mean, Fancy Pros, they got Brian Robinson as their leading back. Antonio after that. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, both these guys are pretty. I mean, both these guys are pretty similar. Brian. I mean, Robinson and Gibbs. Robinson was actually a top 24 back 33% of the time, and Antonio Gibbs was 40% of the time. So I mean, these guys are pretty damn similar. So I mean, they can almost flip roles. I mean, they're almost similar. They almost do the same thing.
Gibson had a lot of value in the pass game. What I noticed, because I had a few shares of him, I noticed that he was more effective. Robinson was more effective as a runner, and then Antonio. So they were a good complement to each other, and Gibson was more effective, kind of catching passes out of the backfield. So it'd be interesting to see if they continue that with Sam Howell, because that would increase Gibson's value, and then I think he'd jump Logan Thomas as probably the number 5 fantasy guy on Washington. But and then speaking of Sam Howell, there's not enough proven yet. It's the same thing when we get to the Falcons. I'll probably have Desmond Ridder at 4. That's usually where I put I'm never going to go below. Usually, obviously some teams it might be 1. Most of these guys, the quarterbacks, they fall into like the 3-4 range. That's where Dak's coming up here. He'll fall into that too. But it'd be interesting to see. I liked Sam Howell a lot at UNC.
Yeah.
He was the guy before Drake May, and so they've had some damn good quarterbacks there and some really good players there the last few years. got rid of Carson Wentz was dead weight. Glad they got rid of him. He'll be hunting some deer up in North Dakota. I mean that'll be his life now. I think he's done in the NFL. Sam Howell's
more
job.
than likely. Yeah.
And Ron Rivera, the coach, has backed him up on that. New OC, like kind of like clean house a little bit to hey kid, this is yours now. Kind of handed it off to him, and will be interesting to see. I think he can get with Dotson, if Dotson's healthy, McLaurin, if he can get the same level of production from Robinson and Gibson, because Gibson had some receiving touchdowns last year. I mean, if he kind of get everybody to pitch in, I could see Sam Howell getting 23, 24 touchdowns. I don't think that's I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Brian had 1 receiving touchdown, and Gibbs had 2 receiving touchdowns. So I mean, it's very similar. I mean, I'm sure if it's closer to the red zone, yeah, pretty damn close. I mean, both these guys are pretty damn close. I mean, they were kind of interchangeable. Because when they got down to pretty much the 5-yard line,
he's not LaDainian Tomlinson, or not catching 100
Robinson
catches out of the backfield.
Yeah. Robinson had 9 attempts. He had 2 touchdowns when they got pretty much in the, pretty much 5-yard line. Antonio Gibbs was the same way. He had 10 attempts, but he had 3 touchdowns. So I mean, Gibson probably being a little bit bigger back if they get closer to the goal line. Yeah, good majority of the time it probably will be Gibson getting closer to the goal line. It depends on the situation. Maybe Robinson. I mean, not quite as big as Gibson, but a little bit quicker. More maybe run to the side kind of guy. So, but I mean, either way, both guys are pretty much complementary. These guys are pretty much similar in traits. I just Robinson probably just a little bit better in the long run.
And then I'll get to so I got about 23, 24 touchdowns for Sam Howell. Maybe 3,700 yards passing. That's a good season. Like that's not anything to snuff at. I mean, that's a solid NFL quarterback. I don't think he's going to be hideous. I don't think he's going to be hideous or anything. So if you got a 2-quarterback league, possibly as a second quarterback, but probably more in line of like a backup.
Yeah, he in 2-quarterback leagues. I mean, he'll probably be your third bench guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could probably you could probably get Sam Howell probably in the double-digit rounds, depending on the small leagues, and he might even be undrafted in some leagues as well. So I mean, it's going to be a give or take, and if you want, because I'm sure some people will be going after freaking C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young before Sam Howell, and I think Sam Howell is a little bit better prospect, out of these guys. So I'm gonna shoot for more Sam Howell over CJ and Bryce Young. Sorry, guys.
Absolutely. Well, Bryce Young, I don't mind Bryce Young. Yeah, CJ Stroud's a bum. That's a bust waiting to happen.
Would you take Fields over CJ Stroud?
Absolutely. I'll be honest. There are very few quarterbacks in the league I wouldn't take over CJ Stroud.
Ooh,
he'll do a couple things to keep, like Fields does. He does a few like YouTube highlight things that keep him in the league.
Would you take would you take Tannehill over CJ Stroud?
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of sums that up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not a CJ. I wasn't impressed with Ohio when he was at Ohio State. And then I'm surprised that Washington, they didn't take a tight end higher. Like the Packers took 2. Obviously the Bills took Kincaid, and Raiders took Michael Mayer. I didn't even take Fields over. Yeah. Stroud is like the great value knockoff of Justin Fields. Okay.
Yeah.
Justin Fields isn't lighting the world up either, like through the air, definitely.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I ain't saying much.
Yeah. Donovan says even I would take Fields
Logan Thomas.
over Stroud.
I thought that the Washington could have used an upgraded tight end. I was surprised they didn't take one like Musgrave from the Packers, a guy like that, or I was saying Kincaid.
Maybe they just
they could have used that. Logan Thomas he hasn't done a lot. He really, I mean, there's been a few flashes, but he's what, a
Yeah.
500-yard tight end, 550.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just nothing special. They definitely need an upgrade, and they didn't do it. So that's not going to help Sam Howell as a young quarterback. You kind of need a stud tight end, or at least somebody reliable. I don't know why they didn't go after Dalton Schultz, who ended up with the Texans. That would have been a nice fit here, but
Here we go.
who might have
Yeah.
judged?
Well, yep.
I think they go. I think they go 7-10. That's my cap. Cap it
Yeah.
on the Commanders.
Yeah. I think that's probably a me. Yeah. I think 7 games is. I think I could probably see 7. 7, I think, would be fairly good to see how Sam Howell does. Who knows? I mean, maybe if they get their shit together, maybe they could be the better team over the Giants.
Yeah, I got
And
them finishing a game over the Giants. I think they'll finish ahead
yeah,
of the Giants.
yeah, yeah. I think that's a capable team of finishing it better than the Giants. I think, yeah, in this division, anyways, for sure. Yeah, Logan Thomas had 61 targets last year. I mean, 303. I think oh no, he actually did play quite a few games. He played 14 games, played 14 games, only started 13 games, but only 323 yards. That's it.
That's pathetic. Yeah, for
One
a guy that started
touchdown.
over half the game. For a guy that started over half the game, that's absolutely pathetic. And I was being generous with the 500 yards.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I think this might be his ceiling. 500 yards, I think, give or take.
It's negligence. To me, you need an obvious upgrade, especially in today's NFL, where it's like tight ends are almost more valuable than the running backs. It seems like
Yep.
how you could roll out the season with Logan Thomas as your starting tight end is a joke.
Yep.
Absolute joke. But that's
Um.
why they're going to miss the playoffs. So,
Yep.
and that's not helping Sam Howell either, like fantasy
Yep.
wise or his development. But so we got 2 in the books.
Yep.
You're listening to the Out of Rhythm Fantasy Podcast.
Yes, you are.
There's more of these 2 gentlemen.
Yes, I just wanted to. Yep, I just wanted to iterate on these 2 guys quick, just before we wrap up. McLaurin was actually a top 24 wide receiver 42% of the time. Dotson was a top 24 wide receiver 50% of the time. So I mean, both these guys were on top on the average, top 12ish, 16, 17% of the time. The least, like 36 overall. I mean, 35, 41% of the time. So I mean, it just give or take on who they're playing. But good majority of the time, these guys are going to be in the top 25. Good majority of the time for most weeks. So I mean, yes. So I'm trying to think of one quick question: is who would you take, like in wide receiver, to compare for Dotson? Like if it came to it, if you needed a wide receiver to, who would you take Dotson over? Like in the wide receiver twos, yeah, I'm sure you take Devontae Smith over him. He's a wide receiver too.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
T Higgins, I'm sure.
I think he's Tyler Boyd. I think he's like a comp, like a player that I think he's on, like Tyler Boyd from the Bengals, and he's like I say, he's a 3, but twos, you're gonna have a hard time. Like he's gonna be one of the low end twos. Like, cause I can name off, sorry, even in this division here, definitely somebody over the Giants. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson, he'd get out of here.
Wait,
So definitely
would you take Dotson over Jacoby Myers?
Take him.
Jacoby Myers or Dotson?
That's close. Just based on the quarterback, I'd take Dotson. Yeah, because I mean, Devontae's numbers are going to get hurt over there. I just imagine what's going to happen with Jacoby or Hunter Renfrow. So,
Corton.
Renfro's going to take some of his targets too over there. So I think Dotson's safer. Yeah, so I would take. Yeah, if you had to pick between the 2 with a draft, because they'll probably be similar range where you're going to end up. Take Dotson over Jacoby Myers.
What about a Michael, not Michael Pittman. What about
I'm gonna talk myself up where I turn this guy into a good number 2. At first I was like, he's gonna be low, but then I'm
yeah,
like, okay, better than the Giants.
quick last one. Cortland Sutton.
In a revitalized offense with Sean Payton, I'll take Cortland Sutton.
Okay. All right. And Donovan Sims, Dotson over Myers. All right, guys. This actually wraps up our Commanders.
Whatever you
talk.
want to call the Commanders, whatever the hell they're
Yep.
they're not going anywhere. But the two teams that are going to be going somewhere, we'll start off with the Eagles. Fly high. Jalen Hurts, enough said. We saw what the guy did last year, what he did in the playoffs, what he did in the Super Bowl. Just an absolute beast. I know he lost his offensive coordinator. Shane Steichen's over with the Colts now. He's the coach, or head coach. So I'm not sure how that'll affect it. He lost Miles Sanders. I mean, every Super Bowl team is going to have, they're going to lose some studs. They're going to lose some offensive linemen. They're going to lose, a stud pass rusher. They're going to lose a receiver. So, Dotson over Sutton. It's close though, Donovan. It's you could argue both ways. I'm leaning more towards Sutton because I'm more interested to see what Sean Payton can do with that whole offense, what he can do with Russ, and what can happen out there. But Jalen Hurts, I don't see any reason why he can't have a similar season to last year, and definitely be I don't see probably number 3. I'd say he's probably number 2 or 3 with like fantasy quarterbacks where I would put him. I mean, Mahomes is 1, and then you could kind of debate over the next few guys. You want Josh Allen. I think Burrow would be beneath Hurt. Yeah, the more I think about it, I would say Mahomes, Allen, Jalen Hurts is 3. Like he's the so he'd be an A+ starter. Just about every week. Nothing to think about. Just take him. He's gonna have probably 10 rushing touchdowns. Probably 30 passing touchdowns. He's just gonna tear it up. He's gonna do what he does because guess what? He's working with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, which I mean we've had some great receiver combos we've talked about so far. Waddle and Tyreek, with the Dolphins and a couple other teams. Bengals, T. Higgins and Chase. Now we get to talk about A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, you're working with these two studs. Both of them going to have at least 1,100 yards. No question. A.J. elite. Devontae Smith not far off. I mean, the 1-2 punch there. Like terms of like catches, maybe 80 for Devontae Smith, and then maybe 90, 95 for A.J. Somewhere in that range. Dallas Goedert, I'd put it probably between them, just because they're going to split up some of the productivity. You could easily argue Devontae Smith for 3. You could have 2 receivers there if you wanted, but I think Dallas Goedert is number 3. I think he's an elite tight end. Going to put up my projections. Let's see. I'm thinking probably 850 for yards, probably 6-7 touchdowns, which is a damn good tight end season. And then, you know what? I'll let Jay get in here real quick because he's got some receivers graphic that he's going to get to. But I'll finish up quick with my top 5. DeAndre Swift over from the Lions. I think Miles Sanders is a better back at this point, just being healthy and productivity. So I think they're going to take a little bit of a hit in the backfield. Between Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift, they kind of a 2-headed monster is what they're going to go with.
Scott,
and Penny's got his. I don't give a shit about Trey Sermon. Send his ass. He should have signed with the Dolphins. Another one of those, cast off 49er backs ends up somewhere else. Any of these other backs, get out of here. It's gonna, unless they get hurt, which is always a possibility with Penny. It's gonna be a Penny and Swift show. Kenneth Gainwell? I think he got kind of bumped down the depth chart. with the signings that they kind of moves they made. So these would be the top 5. Uh, I don't see like a lot be. I mean, they're guys that are at the top are at the top. I mean, these are elite guys at almost every position, but in terms of the depth, it's not like there's their number 5 receiver is fantastic, so it's
Well,
just
yeah. Swift overall, he had a better year
help
in
me out. I'm drowning.
2021.
I'm drowning here.
Yep, I'm coming to the rescue,
need to
man.
swim. I need to do a
Swift,
doggy paddle.
yeah, Swift, I'm a little worried
Doing the
about.
Mario. Doing Mario.
Dun, 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 bloop, 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 bloop. But yes, Andre Swift, Andre the Giant. Oh, this is WWE. Oh shit, my bad. We're talking football here, boy. But anyways,
Andre the Giant.
so Andre Swift. Yes, a lot of us are gonna be skeptical about him. I'm not drafting him. I'm staying away totally. There's far better running backs. I'd take over Swift all day and any day. I don't like Rashad Penny. It's if you think about it, Rashad Penny, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, Trey Sermon. Even when they did have freaking Miles Sanders, you'd sprinkle in a little Gainwell, sprinkle in a little Boston Scott. So it's just the same damn thing that's gonna happen again. Pretty much Swift is almost kind of like he's gonna be playing that Miles Sanders role with what, not even 1,000 fucking yards.
I just don't think. I agree with you. I don't think that any of them are Miles. I think Miles Sanders is a better back than any of those guys. So I think they're I mean they got like a committee. They've got 4 guys they could pop in there at any time. But yeah, they just don't have that like Pro Bowl level guy, which Miles Sanders was. I thought.
Yeah. I mean, Swift on the other hand, he finished 19th overall in 2021. Last year, even worse. He actually finished 22nd overall in freaking in with the running backs. I mean, he only had 191 PPR or 191 points last year. The year before, he had 208. So I mean, if you think about it, this guy's averaging maybe 170 some odd PPR points a year, give or take. That's not a lot. That's not elite. That's not elite at all.
Because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, but I mean, last year, I mean, he only had 500 and some odd yards. I mean, he might be having the same yards this year, maybe 500, 600 yards tops. I mean, I don't see anything him being that's outstanding and like popping out, man. So I don't see it.
You got to fill that 5th spot with somebody. And
Anthony,
Penny, I don't trust. Gainwell, we know what he is. We know what Boston Scott is. Trey Sermon, to get 150 yards, like that. It's slim pickings. I don't like the backup tight end. I don't. Other than and AJ, I don't like the receivers beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, in most given weeks, I mean, Swift was a top 24 back 50% of the time, give or take. I mean, he good majority of the time he's really finishing running back 3, and that's 25th through 36. So I mean, he's finishing there a lot more than a 1 through pretty much a top 12 back really. So I mean, he's down there for me. I'm a no-go on that. Sorry, guys. I'm not a Swift guy. I know Jordan. I know Jordan was. He was going to jump in and be all like do some Swift talk and stuff like that. But I mean, look at this deal
right here. Defend your boy, Jordan.
He'll be like, God dang it, I missed it. But if you think about it, Brown and Smith. I mean, Devontae Smith. Even before AJ even got there, Smith and Hurts were doing their own damn thing. I mean, if you think about it, Swift actually had 185 PPR points last year. He actually finished 29th, and with AJ coming in, he actually finished 10th. In wide receivers, and that was best for 250 some odd PPR points last year. So his right now 180 some odd points per season, give or take now. So I mean, that's jumped up quite a bit. And if anybody's wondering where are you getting this information from, I get it from the UDK, man. Some great information in there. I love it. Simplified, easy. You can see where all these guys are finishing at and whatnot. It's like, well, this guy's a wide receiver 1, either wide receiver 12, 15, 24, 86. who knows? But great information there. I love it. But anyways, I just wanted to
And
say,
if you kids aren't hip on what UDK means, ultimate draft kit.
yep.
If you have any questions, and obviously we can't answer all of them. I mean, I'm kind of self-admittedly, I'm kind of a clown. So, go to a great reference is the ultimate draft kit. How much did that run you, Jay?
I pay $50 for that bad boy. It's not
Yeah,
for a
that's
lot of
nothing. You guys
information. Yep. I mean,
spend $50 on
yeah,
a tank of gas, right? Less,
yeah, yeah,
not
yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to promote the fantasy footballers here, but I mean, great show, great pod. I mean, they do great work over there.
A
I
plus.
mean, yes, their UDK is the shit. I love it. It breaks down a lot of things. I'm sure. I mean, Fantasy Pros does the same thing. I mean, the way they do it over there, a little bit more simplified. They give you pretty much the breakdown of what they ran. I mean, what they finished that week and whatnot. It gives you a great lookout. That's where I get a lot of my information from. I look at CBS too, far as it's a little bit more far as analytics. 25 plus yard receiving touchdowns, yada yada. So I break it up, so that's where I get a lot of my information from, and yeah, it's just great. So enough fantasy footballer talk, because there are people like, your show's a hack, you're just scamming now. But no, anyways, these two guys.
I'll scam you right out of your money, boy. Bring it on over to daddy.
But
I'll whoop your ass.
yes, both these guys.
But yeah, I
Go ahead.
I was gonna say quick. I mean, they're very close in targets. There was only 10 targets difference, and the amount of it's just that the difference is AJ's a yak monster and Devontae's more kind of middle of the pack. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can see the 17 yards a catch. I mean, that's number one. That's like T.O., in his prime level stuff.
And that was actually during the season. Yeah, and that was during the season, and that's what I love CBS for, the nice averages and whatnot. So that breaks it down. But yeah, I mean, AJ Brown, if Titans weren't dumb, they should have kept him,
Yeah.
and the Titans could have been in this role right now and whatnot. But no, let's just be dumb and stupid to give away their best fucking star receiver, who had the balls enough to do something like that. Now, Jesus Christ! But I mean, look what they're missing out. AJ bloomed.
Yeah, how do you screw that up? You had Derrick Henry and AJ Brown on the same roster, and you somehow managed to screw that up. Good job, Titans. Good job.
Right.
You're gonna get Mike Vrabel fired. Good job. While the Eagles are one of these years are gonna win a Super Bowl with these two studs and Jalen. Everybody's locked up. I mean, this is gonna be it's kind of like the Bengals. It's Burrow, Higgins, and Chase. For the next these few years. Be the same thing here with the Eagles. These are the players they're rolling with. These are two of the best. Love it, and they're gonna repeat. They're gonna repeat everything. Like they're.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, running backs were a little more sketchy on. Goddard's gonna deliver what he's been doing, which is top 6 or 7 tight end numbers. But yeah, definitely the receivers are gonna replicate. Running backs is where we're a little more. The waters are kind of muddier. Because it's okay, you don't know who's going to stay healthy. You don't Gainwell. Who knows? Kenneth Gainwell might end up being like the lead back at 700 yards at the end of the year. We don't know. So it was just my guess. Swift, name value, and
it's
he's technically right now he's number 1 on the depth chart. So we just
so
Miles shoehorned him in there.
Yeah, Miles Sanders had more of the attempts, about 250 some odd yards. Jalen Hurts after that. So if you think about it, Boston Scott, Gainwell, so both these guys are just one carry apart. Gainwell had the better yard wise. Boston Scott, maybe 30 some odd rushing yards behind him. So both these guys they're almost similar. It's just they both average like 4 yards a carry, and Swift coming in maybe averaging 5-6 tops, give or take. So I don't know. He might be a little bit better than Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders was about 4.9 per average, so maybe Swift can be just a smudge better than Miles Sanders, but I don't know.
It's gonna be tough. Miles Sanders, he had a damn good year, man. Like Miles Sanders had a damn good season. Had over 1,100 yards rushing, and some more through the air catching, and
Yep.
it's gonna be hard to replace all that.
Yeah,
I got the
it
Eagles.
is.
I got the Eagles 11-6.
7-6.
11-6.
I want to say maybe 12 games. They win 12.
12-5.
Yeah,
they'll be
yeah,
right up. I mean, they'll either win this division or be right up there with Dallas. I mean, it's going to be
yeah. It's
1-2
gonna be
race.
yeah. But it's gonna be either one. Either it's gonna come down to the match. It's gonna come down to when these two teams play each other. It's gonna come down to who wins that one and loses the other one. That's gonna be the main factor in this division because they play twice each. They play each other twice every year. So yeah, it's gonna be who comes out blazing first, give or take. So, but yeah, I think that kind of
We got a news break. Got a little intuition here. Maybe it's some of this Patron I'm repping here. It's letting me know that to celebrate Jamie's birthday, and as the headline main event, we're gonna do the Dallas Cowboys.
oh snap, crackle, and pop. Yes, everybody. If if you're just joining the show, yes, it's my birthday today. I'm streaming, and everybody be like, "How come you're not out partying?" Because my lame ass actually has to work, and what not better than come on and do a stream,
Talk
hang out with my
football.
buddy, talk football, and everybody else come to me, man. Just come and join my party. I don't want to go out there. I mean, shit, this is better. This is better this way, man. It makes everything 10 times better. Makes my night even better. So yes,
We're doing a
Donovan,
little
thank you.
dancing, doing a little. Yeah.
Damn right. Yeah.
I should have made a little birthday graphic for him too with his mugshot and a bunch of.
Should have.
Make up for it. This is his team. This has been his team for years. I'll feel the same way when we talk about Tampa. Everybody knows I'm a Bucks homer. But yeah, Dallas has been Jamie's team for years. And
they have been.
I think this is the best shot that you guys have. I think I'll get to their record here in a little bit, but I think this team, if they can just work something out with Pollard, get him back. I think Zeke. I wish they'd re-sign Zeke. To be honest, that would be
I think so. Yeah,
and just a veterans minimum. Like Zeke will come to his senses and like, hey, okay, I'll do a 1 year deal for a couple million and just suck it up. Come be the complimentary back, which is where he should be. I mean, he's a Cowboy. Time the dancer's coming. Well, we have a giant birthday cake. I got Tracy. She's gonna be popping out of that in probably T-minus 15 minutes. It's almost at the 9 o'clock hour. Got Nevaeh. She'll be popping in Jay's door in just a second. Cowboys. CD Lamb.
Yes.
CD Lamb. Love me some CD Lamb. This guy is elite. Top 5 receiver. In my opinion, some might argue, maybe 5, 6, 7, somewhere in that range. But he's a machine. He's going to get 1,400 yards receiving. You can book that. That's going to happen. Probably 8 touchdowns, 8, 9 touchdowns, something like that. Tony Pollard right now, I would put him at 2, just slightly ahead of Dak. I think they should work something out. Like, hey, this is gonna be like, this is our run. This is the year. If we're gonna get a Super Bowl title, this is the year to do it. If we want to go stack up with some of the AFC guys, heavyweights over there, like this is the year to do it. Zach Martin, the offensive line, was kind of complaining about his contract. And it's like, dude, you're still the 3rd highest paid player at your position in the league. Like, shut up, just play. You'll get, Jerry takes care of Cowboys usually. Like, you'll get paid.
Yeah,
again,
he does. He does. Yeah. And
so
he typically
they
does.
definitely need him on that line to protect, so they still got that solid running game and that and the solid passing game, keep everything as constructed. Pollard really emerged last year. I think he was good coming up to that point, but he emerged as your guys' number 1 last year, and kind of took that next step, became 1,000-yard back, and some of the other stuff he does, catching passes. Dak. And I think Pollard will be in. I think they'll figure that out, and Pollard will be the number 1, feature back.
Yeah, I mean, if he
Dak
signed Yeah, if
Go
he
ahead.
signed
Go
his
ahead, Jay.
I was just saying. I mean, Pollard signed his tender, So I mean, hey, I mean that's money in his pocket. I mean, it's like hell. I mean, if it doesn't work out, dude, he can go off somewhere else. But I don't think Dallas wants to. I was gonna try to, honestly, I was gonna take a look to see what was this next year's running backs class gonna be looking like. I think it might be a little bit
That's why
worse
we
than
got
the
to get
one that came out.
the guy you were telling me about, the Southern guy, the guy that hosts the podcast. That's why we got to get him on this show. So we got to do a segment. We can talk about 2024 guys coming up and some of the running backs. Blake Corum, the kid
Yes.
from Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah, he'd be he'd be a real nice fit in Dallas. Because I thought
He
they might
would.
have moved on, like a Jahmyr Gibbs or even Bijan, maybe traded up to get Bijan this year, but
Yeah.
probably a year away from that. Like, yeah, if Pollard wants to walk, let him walk. But let's just run this back one more time. Maybe try to convince Zeke to come in for a year. And then kind of run it back the way it was last year, because they weren't that far off from beating the 49ers in that playoff game. And it'd be
No, they
interesting to
weren't.
see what the Eagles Cowboys NFC title game would have looked like.
Yeah, for
Kind of
sure.
going head to head. But Dak, I got it 3. Dak, he's up and down. He really is. Like, he's capable of putting up like top 5 fantasy quarterback numbers, but he just, I think it was 2020, one of those years in there, like a few years ago, he was really tearing it up. I think he got hurt. Like, he was like the
Yeah, it
number
was
1
before he got
fantasy quarterback at one point.
Yes,
I remember one
and
of
I
those
can
years,
tell
but
you
like,
that
so
here.
he's got the ability to. He's got the ability to throw 35 touchdowns. He's got the ability to throw 45 to 4,800 yards. Like, he could do that. It's just I don't think he will. I think it'll be more like probably 29, 30 touchdowns passing. Probably some turnovers, because he's been a turnover machine. I think he led the league. It led quarterbacks last year in turnovers, or was one of the higher ones. So he's going to
Yep.
give some of those back, some of those points. Brandon Cooks. This would be a guy. We were talking about like 1 and 2 guys who I would rather have. Would you rather? This would be a guy
Yep.
I would take Dotson over Cooks. I think Cooks is good. He's going to fill the role better than Michael Gallup would have. That's why I got Gallup, at 5 there. I got him below Cooks, because I think Cooks is a better number 2 guy. I know he's been around the league a bunch, but I mean, he was productive with the Texans last year. He was productive in New Orleans. He was productive with the Rams. I think he was with the Patriots for a cup of coffee. So everywhere he's been productive. So he's going to put up numbers. He's going to probably have 850, 900 yards receiving. If he's healthy, plays the full year.
Yeah, I didn't dig too much into him, because I was just kind of doing the main guys. But yeah, I think I'll kind of get into him a little bit here in a minute here. But yeah, I mean, Lamb and Gallup. I like Lamb over Gallup. Gallup's been there for a good 5 years, give or take. He had an ACL tear. He was starting to kind of come into his own, and then he got injured. And I just overall, just more and more, I'm looking at seeing Gallup stats and stuff like that. I'm just like, I just want to throw up. I just want to literally just throw up, because he's horrible. He's bad. I don't know why they even re-signed him. Statistic wise, he hasn't given anything to prove for Dallas to actually give him another. I mean, they gave him another contract. I honestly, I couldn't see anything. I'm like, why? I mean, yeah, body, yeah. So
Because
downfall.
he's got the name, like he's got a football name. I think I figured out with this guy what it is, why we're all enamored. Like Michael, because it's the Cowboys. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. We're Gallup. Oh, he's fast. This motherfucker can't even get 11 yards a catch. Like, your name is Gallup. You should be a yak monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and he was hurt. In his defense, he was hurt most of last year.
Yeah.
So
He was.
that's kind of
he was.
snapshot. I think he's capable of a lot more than 424 yards. But yeah, he's a number 3 at best. At best, I mean, he's really more of like a number 4. I forget who we were talking about with the Giants, but
yes,
where he falls in. Maybe Wandale. One of those guys we were like, okay, he's a number 4 for sure. That's Michael Gallup. Like, Cooks is better. Lamb, obviously.
I would probably take Wandale over Gallup. I'd probably do that. Gallup only had one good season. One
I
good
would do it.
season. That was back in 2019. That's it. Other than that,
That was 4
he's
years ago now.
yes.
1,000 yard season.
Yep, one. That was it. He actually and so pretty much when he came into the NFL, 78th, and then the year after that, 22nd. And then now the rest of the years, 20 to 20, 20, 21, 22, he was wide receiver 38, wide receiver 79, wide receiver 68. So I honestly, yeah, I might be a Cowboys fan, but literally I'm out on Gallup. I'm not. I'll actually take Cooks over Gallup. I like Cooks 10 times. I like I like Cooks 10 times more over Gallup. Gallup, I'm just totally out on. Maybe he might recede. He might subside a little bit this upcoming year. It's hard saying. Maybe he gets a little fresh breath of fresh air this year after how bad he's been, and the Cowboys could totally just get out of him. I'm I'm just not a fan of Gallup. I don't know why.
What about okay?
Oh well,
Any of the tight ends interest you? I don't know why the hell they let Dalton Schultz go. I
yeah,
mean, Ferguson, and we'll kind of mention that here. But okay, you have
yeah.
three receiver. Gallup's not that good. Why is he the third? Why is he number 5? Because he has to be. What? You gonna put Turpin in there? Like who the hell else? You gonna put one of the practice squad guys in there? Like Gallup kind of almost had to be there because the tight ends, yeah, they're just.
Yeah, last year
Why
we
didn't they
signed the
take
guy from
Kincaid? Dalton
right,
Kincaid should be a Cowboy.
right. He should be. I was gonna say we had the guy from the Steelers last year. Pretty much wasted money on him. Got injured, and he never even seen the field. You know, he was actually he was a Longhorn, and I can't remember his name offhand now because I'm like, because the he was the Steelers number 3 guy. He got let go. Dallas picked him up, and I was kind of excited with him that he might help out the help them out receiving wise. He'd never even seen the field at all. And I was like, God, I'm like, what a waste of freaking a contract right there. We could have brought somebody else in, and we would have looked a lot, we would have looked 10 times better. So maybe shoot Meyer from Michigan. I'm hoping he turns out
Oh,
to be their
Schoonmaker.
Shoemaker.
Schoonmaker.
Yep,
Yep,
yep.
that's what.
So yep.
He
He's a
might be
guy
the
in
number
the
1 guy by default. He might be because
yep.
Ferguson ain't number 1. Ferguson
No,
ain't no damn number 1 tight.
so
They should have
yep.
re-signed Dalton Schultz.
They should have.
Nonsense? Did
So
did
I was
nobody not
looking
see
here.
Dalton Schultz? I said this with the Texans. I don't mean to cut you off, Jay, but did nobody not see that with the Texans the last few years? With the last few years of Dalton Schultz, this guy was probably a top 6 or 7 fantasy tight end, year after year. How
Yeah.
you let this guy out the door when you don't have anybody suitable to replace him when you're a team that's got Super Bowl aspirations is just beyond me. It's the same thing with the Commanders. How the hell do you start the year with Logan Thomas as your tight end 1? What are you doing?
It is. So I wanted to look at what these two guys were doing here, and
I mean, I remember Schoonmaker from Michigan. I mean, he was a
yeah.
stud there. I mean,
So
but he ain't Dalton Schultz.
yeah. So Hendershot, Shoemaker, and for Ferguson. Man, this almost sounds like a freaking. It sounds like a
law firm. Yeah, they look like a damn law firm there too.
my take was horrible. I was gonna say like a rifle, whatever. Wherever you go out and shoot guns at one of those little sites into whatever heck they are.
Oh, the
but
range.
Yeah. But
ride in there on Michael Gallup. I'll ride it on my Michael Gallup.
So my take was a little messed up. But anyways, I wanted to say is Hendershot was targeted 16 times, 11 receptions, only 103 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's it. Ferguson was targeted 22 times, 19 receptions, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. So we were lacking horribly in the tight end category of the NFL, and it was just horrible, just bad. So maybe, hopefully, maybe Shoemaker comes in and be's a man, and Ferguson could be the tight end too in this aspect, in this
It's
core
good. It's
of
gonna have to be.
whatever. Yeah,
It's gonna have to work like this because they were cheap. They didn't go up and get a. I think one of the projections I had was Michael Mayer from the Raiders ended up taking him, but I thought he would have been a
yeah,
good fit in Dallas. Like if he couldn't get
yeah. I
Kincaid,
think so.
some guy like him or Laporta from the Lion.
Yeah,
Laporta is going to be their starting tight end day one. You get a
yeah,
guy like that. You know it's more of the same. I think Schoonmaker probably isn't much more than Ferguson, but you let Dalton Schultz go, and this is the penalty you pay. But the rest of the team's so good. It's like between Dak, Pollard, Lamb, Cooks. Like the it's like the Eagles. Like the high end is so good that it kind of masks over a lot of the BS in the middle.
yeah.
Because some of these, like the tight end position with this team is just mind boggling. It's like
It is.
it
It
looked like a
is.
broke ass 350-yard law firm. Like each of these guys is like, there's nothing special. There's no
Yeah,
pop there. There's no special. You're not
yeah.
going to find Travis Kelce in one of these three guys. I can guarantee
No.
you that.
So I mean, overall, I mean, hopefully, we get ourselves another, Dalton Schultz, maybe 500, 600 yards max. I mean, Schultz had majority of the targets at 89 targets in our offense. So we got to find somebody else going to take that share of targets in this offense, and hopefully Shoemaker comes in and takes some of that stuff away with some of these other guys not that great. I mean, some of these guys are probably gonna be some run blockers too here and there. So I mean, that's gonna be give or take. But
Yeah,
we need to find our Dalton Schultz is what we need. What we need. Um,
I
quickly
wish,
too
but
is
a quick Jay. I was gonna say, I wish they would have taken one of these stud backs too. I wish they would have taken a Chase Brown or an Eric Gray. One of
yeah, I
these.
would have been totally happy with one of those two guys back there. I mean, think about it. I
Absolutely.
mean, you had your boy freaking Ronald Jones, Malik
Yeah,
Davis,
Rojo. What the hell? Why?
yeah.
Why? I knew he couldn't play in Tampa. Why the hell would you sign the Kansas City too? Kansas City knew he couldn't play either. That's why they got rid of him. The hell is this?
Yeah, Malik Davis is kind of I mean, he's kind of a bulky kind of guy. I mean, he's seen some games here and there too as well. Um, I think we
There's
drafted
no
him
special there.
yeah, I think we drafted him last year, I believe. He had a few games. I mean, he played 12 games, 38 attempts, 161. He had one touchdown. He had one nice run last year. I mean, that's it. I mean, our backfield is hurting. I mean, yeah, I think
He's a
we do need
body.
to bring. Yeah, he is. I think we need to do if we can. Bring. I'm gonna say it now. Bring Zeke back, and we can win a goddamn fucking Super Bowl this year, and then we can just fall apart.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did. I mean, we sold our soul for the chip. The Rams sold their soul for the chip. Do what you got to do. Keep the fans happy. I mean, that'd be the best way to celebrate year 40 is to get Jay, a long awaited Super Bowl here, and whatever you got to do, convince Zeke. Bring in Lenny Fournette. I think Lenny Fournette's got more in the tank than some of these other was that Rojo.
Yeah,
I think he's got a little more left to tank. I think of all like the free agent guys you could possibly go and snag.
hell,
I
I'll
think
be happy with Kareem Hunt. I'll be happy with. I mean, I would love Kareem Hunt.
That's yeah. I slipped my. I just my mind. Yeah, no, absolutely. You got to get somebody. If it's not Zeke coming back, yeah, you got to get a Kareem Hunt. And if you can't get, you got to go a little bit lower. Get Lenny or somebody. There's got to be somebody to fill it. You ain't winning shit with Malik Davis as the backup running back. It's just
Deuce
not.
Vaughn.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
that's going to put too much on Pollard's plate. No matter how good the offensive line is or how good Dak's playing, I mean, that's a lot on Tony Pollard to carry the load with an average, below average, backfield behind him.
I mean, Deuce Vaughn too as well. I mean, smaller than me. I mean,
the Deuce.
Yeah. I mean, he's a smaller, nimble, quicker guy. He looks. I want to. Okay, so I want to see him play a little bit. I'm kind of curious to see how. I want to see him play in some preseason games. I kind of want to see how he does. then I could get my better opinion on Deuce Vaughn a little bit if how he looks at him, how he might look in this offense.
I think Deuce Vaughn should have been playing in the. I think Deuce Vaughn should have been playing in the CFL. That's where he should be.
But I mean, we also had another
Put his ass
we
up in
can't
Canada.
yeah, we can't forget the Cowboys also did draft Jalen Tolbert last year. He was a third rounder too last year, who really didn't see the offense much as well. I was kind of like, all right, well, and he came from South Alabama too as well. I mean, from some of the reports, he had a hard time grasping our offense a little bit, which is why he hardly didn't see the field. He only played, I think he started 8 games, but never played in a lot of the games because he only had 2 targets or 3 targets, 2 receptions, 12 yards, and that's it. So I think he was just very minimum. He came in for a couple games or whatever, and he didn't look good. I was like, this is our third rounder from last year. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I didn't like it one bit at all. So hopefully with this
Yeah,
year with
that's a
him,
waste.
the off,
It's a waste.
yeah, with I'm hoping maybe with this offseason, with him getting into training camps and stuff like that now, maybe Tolbert can be better than Gallup, maybe, possibly, but that's hard to tell. But yeah, I just wanted to mention Tolbert too as well because I mean he's another wide receiver in this crew. He had some
He's got the
flashes
ability
last year.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or we wouldn't have
he
drafted him in
could
the third
easily.
round.
I wouldn't be shocked if he jumped Gallup. Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
even mentioning Jalen Tolbert. Yeah, but he could jump that. He could be the 3 guy. That's not
yeah,
that's not too much. The way Gallup's been playing the last couple years or been on the field, lack of, yeah.
yeah,
Why the hell
yeah.
not? Cowboys going 12-5. They're gonna go 12-5 and win this division.
Ooh, yeah. It's 11, 12 games, give or take. And I think it's going to, honestly, it's going to come down to the Eagles, how we do against the Eagles, because we play them twice every
Yep.
year. So, I mean, we could win one. If we win one early, we have to, and it comes out, if it does come down to playoff, aspirations, we have to come back and win again. So, yeah, that's going to come into a lot of it too, because, I mean, if we lose the first game, maybe, when it does get closer, if we do get in playoffs, win the second game, and then boom, bam, so it all varies. It all does. But yeah, I think most of our competition is going to be the Eagles this year for sure. Even though I'm not an Eagles fan, had to talk some Eagles. Where's my trash can at? Give me a second. I wish I had that. I wish I had that emoji little button. Sound a little throw up sound effect, but
the trash can, and then that stripper I was telling Donovan about too. She should be showing up in.
But yeah,
we got. So
I think
in
review is there one more?
In review, do you want to?
Yeah,
you want
we can go
review any
review
4 teams or records or anything?
Yeah, we can. You can review real quick. I mean, just who wins the division, and then we're just kind of.
So we got Dallas. I got CeeDee Lamb at number 1, for sure. Pollard, Dak at 2-3. Brandon Cooks will probably be solid at number 4, and then number 5 is debatable. Kind of whoever you want to slide in there. Eagles, obviously Jalen to be Jalen number 1, AJ, Goddard, Smith. Those 4, just like Dallas, those 4, unquestionable. And then that 5th spot with Swift, or if you want to throw in a couple other guys, Giants. Saquon, if he even plays this year,
right.
Number 1, Daniel Jones at 2. A lot less certainty with these bottom 2 teams. They're just not like Daniel Jones. You could for sure put in there, but Waller, we don't know about his health or if he's shot. Slayton, he's around. I like Jalen Hyatt a lot. I think him and Jones are kind of the 2 guys going forward. You could probably depend on, and then Eric Gray, who was kind of our sleeper. We didn't put on there, but Eric Gray I like a lot.
Yeah.
And then the Commanders, McLaurin, he's going to be in there. He's as solid as it gets. Robinson and Gibson are kind of a 2-headed combo running backs. Dotson we like. I don't know what his ceiling is, but he's going to be a solid receiver for them. And then Sam Howell, I think, is underrated. I think people are sleeping on Sam Howell. I
Yep.
think he's going to have a decent year compared to his expectations. He ain't Burrow. He's not Mahomes. He's not,
Yep.
he's not even Jared Goff. But if he can kind of be in that next tier below that, he'll find a way. You'll find a way to put him in as a backup, or even maybe start a week or two on your team. So
Yeah.
he'll work his way into that. And then you got the
Damn right.
Commanders at 7-10, Giants 6-11, Eagles 11-6, and Cowboys 12-5.
There we go.
You have any anything to add to that, Jay?
No, I know. I think everything sounds pretty damn good. I mean, I mentioned earlier some of these. Cowboys 12-5. Eagles 11 games. Maybe 7, 8 games with Washington. I think I said about 8 games with the Giants too. I mean, I think some of these smaller teams could be underrated because you see this quite often. Some of these struggling teams end up they actually start clicking. And you're like, oh shit, and I think Washington could be one of these teams to be watching out for this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because we don't know what it's like with Atlanta. We don't know what Ritter's ceiling is. We don't know what Sam Howell's ceiling is. Maybe he's better than people think.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
We haven't done this in a couple weeks, but we're gonna open up the book. There we go.
Oh, yes. He actually has
now
to get
I'm officially blind
too.
again. I'm blind. I can't see where am I at.
Where's your poking stick?
Yeah, I feel like Stevie Wonder. No, but so Tyreek, we'll keep it football this week with the Book of Eli. Tyreek promised a 2,000-yard season and a Super Bowl title in 2023. He's not that crazy to think that he couldn't. I mean, he had his highest yard total last year. His first season with the Dolphins had over 1,700 yards receiving. There's a lot of guys. That's kind of like the new. That's kind of the new thing. Is we got Chase, JJ, now Tyreek. A lot of these high end elite receivers think they can get that 2,000 number, and Tyreek especially. With that added 17th game, because Calvin Johnson had 1964 in a season, and they're throwing more now than they were in 2012. I mean, it was a passing league then. Now it's a complete passing league now. So I don't think it's out of the question. That the 2,000 yards part, I don't think is out of the question. I think that might be doable one of these years. But he's going to have where his issue falls is he's working with Jalen Waddle, who's almost just as good. And Waddle's going to take away a large number of targets and yards and receptions. So it'd be a lot easier if Tyreek was on a bad team like Calvin Johnson was, and to get to that mark. And I think when you combine what he said is like, you're full of shit. If the moral of the Book of Eli is he's full of shit. There's no way Dolphins are winning a Super Bowl. If Tua stays healthy, they have a puncher's chance just with all the weapons they have on offense. And I like Mike McDaniel, the coach. I think he's creative and comes up with some good stuff. But they'll be lucky to make the playoffs, honestly, because I think the Jets will be a lot better. Patriots will be. I mean, they're always respectable. They probably won't make the playoffs either, but they'll be respectable. They'll be hard to win 2 games against. Bills are, be back again. They'll be winning games, so they'll have a hard time even making the playoffs. So, of the prediction that Tyreek made, I think 2,000 yards is more likely than the Dolphins winning the Super Bowl. What do you think, Jay?
Yes.
Closing that book.
It's pretty damn. I think Donovan says, I love his swagger, but do you think Waddle will be happy if he isn't getting his share?
Nope.
I mean, if you think about it, most of these guys probably won't be. I mean, Waddle was doing stuff before. I mean, it goes back to Devontae Smith, Waddle. Both these guys were doing things before they end up getting these big high end, these big elite guys, so I mean, before they got AJ Brown, before they got Tyreek Hill, so I don't see these two guys complaining much. I mean, you can see what both these two guys, what both him and Waddle did this last year. Shit, the funny crazy thing is both these guys were in the top, weekly statistics. These guys were in the top 10 most of the freaking week, good month and a half. These guys were top 10 in statistics every freaking week, It was back and forth. One guy had 23 points, 100 some odd yards. These guys were just back and forth. So I, I think I see this continuing. Yeah, I don't. I think Tariq can maybe see 2,000 because he's quick enough to do it. I just don't see. I don't. I guess it's gonna come down to does Chase get there first? Does Jefferson get there first? It's I guess it is. I guess it's a three-headed race to see who gets to 2,000 first. I could probably
It'll be fun for us watching. I mean, it'll be
yeah.
fun because these guys are, it'll be. We love those type. He was infamous for those when he was in Kansas City. He'd pop 180, 200-yard game like it was nothing.
So
it's like Jamie when he's bowling. It's like Jamie just bowling a 260 like it's nothing. He's like, ain't that big of a deal.
So I think
Tyreek is capable. It's just he's got to consistently to get to that 2,000 mark. I mean, it's harder than it sounds. I mean, you gotta play all set. I mean, I don't even think you can miss a week. I think you'd have to play all 17 games, and you have to average, I think, like 115, 120 yards a week, which is it's doable in today's NFL, but that's a crazy goal.
Yeah, let's see here quick. That would see 2,000. Let's see that by 17. So he would have to average almost 120 some odd yards a game, give or take.
Yeah. Yep.
To get that. And you know what, boys? How about you three lay down $1 million to see which one of you guys got the motivation to get to 2,000 first?
Oh my God.
That's how it's gonna get done.
Fireworks. You get one of these three guys in your fantasy team as motivated as they are. That's why, I took him in one of the mock drafts we did. Kind of, I felt like I had to where he was, but Devontae Adams is nowhere near this. I don't even think, just what the Eagles do. Like Jalen's not that kind of thrower. I don't think AJ Brown or Devontae Smith can touch this either. I think it's one of the three guys. It's Hill, Tyreek, or Tyreek, Chase, and JJ. It'd be one of those three guys, and I think JJ of all of them. Just he's working with Jordan Addison now, and that's a little bit different. But these other guys have such high end, have such high end receiving core. It's like Boyd and Higgins are going to take away from Chase, and obviously Waddle will take away from Tyreek. So yeah, I think of all of them, I'd say JJ might have the best chance.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my goodness, man!
You put in quite the effort tonight, baby.
We made another division. I mean, 3 more divisions to get done. Oh my God, guys! So, if any of you guys
5 down,
yep. So if any of you guys end up catching our show or on YouTube or whatever, go back go back and check out all the AFC side of stuff over there. Catch all those previews and whatnot. They might be a little bit older, but those were our opinions at that time. So next week, I think Big D might join us with a little AFC North talk. I think this is going to be one where a lot of people are going to be wanting to kind of like get into, because I noticed on our pod statistics that everybody's been trying to listening to some AFC North stuff. So, and that's a very high volume clicker right there. So, yeah, but I think this is going to be an extreme show next week, guys. So
we're gonna promote it. We're gonna promote it. We're gonna cook it up next week. I mean, it's gonna be out of rhythm on roids. Juice it up. Get those veins ready. We're in South Dakota. We don't, if you guys come across us anywhere, we're out of South Dakota, and so everybody up here. A lot of I'm in Sioux Falls. Jamie's up in Aberdeen. Like more so here, I see Bronco and Chief fans. Some of the more of the AFC in this area. There's a ton of Packer fans, ton of Bears fans, even some Lions fans. Give some love to Jared. So yeah, this will be of like geographically where we're at. This will be the most relevant division. So yeah, if you know anybody, if you're live in Minnesota, live in South Dakota, wherever, you're different part of the country and you're a fan of one of these teams, spread the word, because we're gonna put on our best episode yet. You can guarantee that, because last year we had a lot of fun when we did the NFC North, and that was kind of almost the kickoff to the Out of Rhythm show that you see today. But yeah, we'll be
Yep.
all the there won't be any more. I'm sorry, Dotson. I'm sorry I said Baylor. I screwed up. I owned it. I manned up. Yeah, but we'll cross all the T's, dot all the I's next week, and it'll be a lot of fun doing that one Wednesday again if it works with Donovan and Jay.
Yep. Well, it's already Wednesday because the link to the YouTube is already out. So I mean, it's already out there, guys.
Okay.
I mean, so get out there, hit that sub button, get that freaking hit that dang bell over there like it's dong 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 dong. So get that done, and so when we go live, you guys will be going out of your freaking minds, man. So let's get her done. But anyways,
let's get it, boy.
So to wrap up, I don't know if the Discord link's in. I think it might be in the description. I don't know if it's not. I'll send it in. I'll put it in the comment section. And yeah, make sure you guys if you guys haven't followed our freaking our podcast, get over there on Spotify, get over there on Apple Pods, get over there on freaking Google. We're on Intune, Audacity, Pain. No,
peas and pods for you.
Yeah, coffee beans, pods and beans, and I just want a coffee bean, chocolate covered beans. Fuck, I don't know what the hell it's called. But anyways, guys, go over there, check all that stuff out. Somebody give us a review on Apple Pods, please. Leave a question down there, and I'll read it on the show. Come on, guys, I'm putting it out there. Leave if you have a question, Dynasty. Mock drafts or whatever.
We're shameless. We'll read the question right on the show. I might be wrong sometimes, but I'm right sometimes too. And I got an opinion about everything. So, you put something there and we'll, that question will be answered and we'll give a thorough one. So yeah, somebody give a review. Ask a question. I got a question. You know what, Anthony, you owe us an appearance on the show. And so I'm keeping you on, we'll answer your question maybe next week because we're out of time now. But I expect you for the NFC South because you're our Falcons expert. So I need you for NFC South coming up in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Hold that question.
Yep. But yes, he says when. Well, the other preview is already out now. If you look on our YouTube, so it says July 26th. So next Wednesday after that, it's probably like August something, probably. I'm not sure exactly.
August 2nd. I think August 2nd, August 3rd, something like that. Yeah, first week of August. Tuesday or Wednesday. Keep that open. We need you.
Yep.
Oh, thank you,
Donovan. Happy birthday again. Good show, boys. Yes, Donovan. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everybody who actually came out, viewed, comment, and just came out and watched us, listened to us, and whatnot. So we appreciate everybody's time. That's a given. So I mean, with all the views and people commenting and whatnot, brings traffic to our show, and hopefully more people end up kind of seeing us. So we appreciate everybody that's come to our side of the family, and we appreciate it. We love you all. So
hasta la vista, baby.
So I think it's time for us to get up out of here. I have to go to work. I got some birthday ice cream to eat. So yeah, I think it's time to skedaddle, and we'll see you boys July 26th on the NFC North preview.
Share. We need some support. We don't ask a lot for this stuff, but we need some support. Show up, show out. Anybody like in the area that even if they're just watching on their phone at their kids' Little League game or whatever, you're hanging out on the couch. Like, yeah, we appreciate support next week, and we'll be talking about a lot of people's favorite teams in the area. So, and Jay had a, it's good. I mean, who else does this on their? It's a commitment for us. Who else does this on their birthday? Just love you guys, man.
Yes,
love it.
Yep. All right, guys. From Out of Rhythm, the birthday boy, and Eli, we're Out of Rhythm. We will see you guys next time. Later, guys.